Hello there guys, and welcome to Mad Doc Mini. So I've finally gotten round to doing another Titan update. You have to excuse the mess in the cabin. I've got lots of projects on the go at the moment. But I'm at this kind of awkward phase with the Titan where I'm doing a lot of fine detailing. It's taking a lot of time. And you know what it's like, you don't feel like you've got much to show for it. So that's why it's been a long time coming, this update. But this is probably going to be the last update before I prime it. I probably do have a couple of little bits to do before I prime it, but you know, the next video will be a little look at it primed. The build on top, as I've said a couple of times, is going to be a proper build where I'm going to do like a properly edited video, step-by-step thing on how I do that. So bear with me on the top. We're just going to get all this kind of into a good place first before we do that. So let's dive in, and I do apologise in advance if I kind of skim over something. If you see something that's happened in between, you want to know a little bit more about it and I haven't talked about it, just put it down in the messages, guys. Happy to answer any questions at all. It's just a lot's been going on and I don't know if I'm going to remember it all, but I'm going to sort of, you know, nothing big, just lots of little details. So let's get straight in there. Have a look. Right, I'm going to focus on the head initially. So we've done a little bit of filling in around the head, various bits. This thing here at the end of my finger, those, I've got those all over the build, and you might have seen them on my battleboard build if you've watched any of those, and they look like kind of bulkhead, I don't know, reinforced kind of points. They are actually cable clip kind of holders. I don't know what you'd call them really, but you stick them to the wall. They're kind of self-adhesive things. You would stick them to a wall and put your cable ties in there to kind of put cables down the wall. Not that I would actually choose to do that with them at all, because they'd look horrible, but for, you know, this type of thing, they're great. Just a little bit of detail. We put this is kind of like cable tidy stuff, and I just put a little bit of that around those plastic lids that were in there before, just to kind of hide some gaps. These kind of pipes, these are new as well. Those pipes are from the same kind of toy as the cannons, like pipe toy type stuff. And these little components here are from an old kids board game. I mean, you'd struggle to find those exact ones, I'm sure. I put some vents down on top here. We've got a piece from an old orc truck just hiding what was like a little gap in the Star Wars ship kind of part, this part here. I've got some more gaps to fill, but you know, that's no biggie. So there's quite a lot of work's been going on there. These little Lego components here, I'm trying, it's very difficult because I've got a better phone. The camera is like almost too advanced for me because I'm a bit basic. So the focus keeps going in and out, but these bits here, these are kind of like a nice kind of three-dimensional shape, but if you can just see that. And I've used that for some architectural kind of detailing down in certain areas. They look really nice under the cannons there, look. Okay, you can get a better idea of them there, look. All right. So they've been added here and there. And I don't know if I've drawn attention to this before, but on builds that are quite big like this, invariably you make mistakes with measurements. And unfortunately, I did at some stage make a mistake. And I'll just draw your attention to it now because I like to be an honest content creator. So here you can see the circular part here is sandwiched right up against the wall here. And over this side, we have a small gap. So I'm kind of out this way by like, I don't know, maybe just over 1/4 of an inch, something like that. It's annoying, but I don't think it's that noticeable, you know, and I certainly ain't going to do anything about it at this stage in the build anyway. All right, so moving on, let's move down, okay? So we've got a penis gun, which that was already done, you know, nothing new there. I've tidied up these armoured plates a little bit by adding some rivets on them. We've got a couple more of those cable tie holder, self-adhesive things there. So, and we've also got a Lego component, like a little dish there, just hiding the screw that is securing those armoured plates, okay? I think those little vents have been added as well on there. And moving down, I think the feet are pretty much the same, no work there. You've probably noticed these cables here. I think I'm better off turning that around to show you those, so just bear with me on that. But if I just kind of take you to the kind of hip joint area here. Now this is boring really, but it's something that needed to be done. I could have put some cardstock just to hide the hollow that is underneath this peanut butter jar lid. So that's just cardstock cut to the right size and shape and slotted over the wood, you know, so there's like a square hollow in the middle of it. We've got some plastic card kind of put in underneath. You can just see the white of the plastic card there to bulk it out a little bit. And then we've got various Lego components, just kind of add detail, really. That's all it's doing, just adding interest and, you know, just little greebly details where they're kind of needed. All right, more bulkhead bits there. Look, I've used those a little, maybe even a little bit too much on the build, but they're just excellent filler. The vents on top here, I think they were there already, but they might not have been, so I'll just draw your attention. That's more ruminate parts there. I think that's about it there. What I'm going to do is actually kind of turn this guy around, which is not easy these days because there isn't that much to kind of hold on to. Do you know what I mean? There's so much detail on it. Right, so we've been detailing the big guns. Right, where do I start here? So underneath, this was quite a flat area, and I've just added the same components as I added up here, Lego components, just look like little buttresses or whatever you want to call them. And I've added little Lego components in between, little shield type things, just for detailing. More of those bulkhead type pieces, those cable tie kind of holders. On top of the gun here, I've added another plate. This is the big kind of Gatling blaster. I've added another plate on top, lots more rivets. Lego components. We've got ruminate parts here. We've got a ladder, access ladder made from an old toy tennis racket. I'm missing one part here. There's supposed to be 3 of these parts, so excuse that, guys. We've got, then they're just Lego components again, same ones as I used under there, look, okay. And lots of vents along there. More ruminate parts here. And this was just a spare part I had hanging around from, if you've watched the battle board build, that is from the forklift things that I used to make the kind of loaders for the cannons, the big ship guns. That was part that I kind of chopped off, and I just thought that slotted in nicely and added some pointless detail. All right, I've also tried to kind of hide gaps here and there, so I've put little tank treads around these kind of pipe pieces, just to give an impression of mechanism, I guess, really. I've added some of those cable tie things again on the side here. You can see that's been drilled out and re-drilled at some stage, but you know, like at some stage you've got to go, whatever, man. Okay, but that's a lot of, you know, this is all kind of time consuming stuff, because a lot of the time is spent just sitting down staring at the bloody thing. Do you know what I mean? You're just there staring at the Titan, staring at your bits box, saying, how can I do this, what can I do to it, sort of thing. All right, so that's why there's been a lot of time in between, guys. It's a bit of a drag, but thanks ever so much for bearing with me. All right, I'm gonna turn this around a bit more now. Sorry, filming one-handed here. Okay, so once again, let's go up to the kind of hip area. You can sort of see I've done extra detailing around underneath the hips here, and the same sort of things I was talking about a minute ago, the Lego around the periphery of the hip joint there. More bulkhead type, I mean, I call them bulkhead pieces, you know where I'm coming from now. This is just you know, those cable tie holders. There's actually slightly bigger cable tie holders behind there to kind of make that jut out a little bit as well. The pipes, the kind of yellow pipes that you see. Now, I am pretty sure that I'm the only person in the known universe who's used these on a Warhammer build. So these are, I'm a physiotherapist, okay, and these are discarded old suction tubes from an interferential machine. So we use a type of stimulation called interferential sometimes in the clinic, and that you apply it by suction cups, and there's a little electrode in the suction cup that delivers the electricity. These are the tubes, the discarded tubes. They have, you know, like a life to them, and you have to throw them away at the end. So I've just chopped those up. They're quite flexible. All right, I've just chopped those up and made them to kind of, you know, just fill in a little bit, you know, add a little bit more interest to the back here. And I've got one coming down through and underneath this part here. Up here, these are, I don't know, I think these are from a, well, you know, those kind of sealant guns, that like the end of the sealant gun, basically, the bit that kind of pushes down on the sealant. I think that's what they are. They're definitely from a sealant gun, but I can't remember exactly what bit of the ceiling gun it's from. So we've got a couple of those, and one of the pipes is disappearing into those. So I don't know, I imagine this to be some sort of hydraulic system, I guess, or something similar, you know. Moving on up, this is the back of the Gatling blaster. You can see that I've been detailing with Lego clamps here, more ruminate here and there. We've got another bulkhead piece. I haven't done that. I don't know if I'm going to do much with that. It's a big flat surface. I kind of need to do something with there. Moving through, oh yeah, this is a bit of a change. You might remember that I had some ruminate vents here. They were too valuable. Okay, I needed to use those for my big battleboard build because they're perfect size for, and shape for railings. So I found this old Tau ion gun, and just like, you know, it comes in 2 parts anyway, and put that either side. I think that's fine. And it means that I haven't used a really otherwise valuable part for just like, you know, pointless greebling. Do you know what I mean? Nothing else new. All that's kind of as it was. Just looking down, scanning. Oh yeah, I think I added these on here, those cable tie things. You're probably all thinking I've used far too many of them, but you know, I just wanted extra detail, and I think they look quite cool. So I mean, I'm happy with it. Let's move along now to the main, the kind of big kind of plasma blaster, the big kind of plasma gun. There's been a few changes there. In fact, one of them you can see from this angle. I've put, because I've got my hands on some more ruminate, I've actually put more of the curved components on the inside of the gun. They were on the outside anyway, but I put some on the inside as well. Just otherwise it was a real featureless area, this, okay? If I turn it around a little bit more. Okay, sorry guys, all one-handed here. All right, so at the back, the big kind of plasma flasks, they kept coming off. So they were hot glued on before. And of course, this is all very smooth. There's nothing to bond it. I drilled and screwed them in place. I'm probably going to hide those screws with something. But you know what? The screws look quite cool as well. You know, with something like Warhammer, you can kind of get away with that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I may leave them, I may not, but they are not going anywhere now. That is like probably the most solid part of the build. So that's that. I've done a little bit of filling in around the pipes here. Very poor job of some moulding and sculpting, but you know, let's just forget about that. On top, we've added these 2 parts. These are long ruminate parts just to the side of the kind of plasma coils, just to add a bit more detail, really. It was just, again, looking a bit boring there for me. So yeah, I think that is about it. I think that's about it. Let's just turn it round again. Okay, right. So it still separates in 3 components, all right? So legs are as they are. The body kind of slots off the top as it always has done. I've not interfered with any of that. The body can sit on the ground separately without damaging anything. So this is going to be very easy to take apart and store in 3 parts, which is really good. I'm happy that I've managed to keep it that way. So I will do another update after priming, guys. I've actually got the spray primer on order. I've managed to get a good price on 6 400ml bottles, which I'm hoping will be enough. So I'm going to prime this thing in grey. I may, in a few select areas, spray like a black primer, just like in some of the gaps around the legs and that, where, you know, it won't look right if everything's just grey, so it'll add a bit of natural shading. So I may do a little bit of pre-priming in black in selected areas. The whole thing's then going to get kind of sprayed grey, and then we're going to move up to the top and do the kind of fortress build on top. So look, I really appreciate you being patient with this, guys, and I know it's been a long time since I put anything up about the Titan. I don't really have that many excuses, to be honest, other than life, you know. It's just family, I've got small kids, and I'm busy with work, so it's kind of all snatched time. And this is definitely a labour of love, this one. It's not something I want to rush, number one. But number two, it's taking a back seat from some of my other videos, because Sad but true, these ones don't get that many views. I'm not getting like Eric's Hobby Workshop type attention for this Titan. Believe it or not, I know it's so hard to believe, isn't it? But it's all about size. He's just got a bigger one than me. That's what it is. It's 7 foot tall. It's not a size; it's what you do with it. Okay, yeah, just remember that. So, yeah. So by the time this guy's finished, I think that's going to be about. I think it's about 3 foot at the moment. I think it's going to be over 4, because I think the cathedral is going to be quite big, so it'll be just over 4 feet. But the key thing is, and if you haven't checked out Eric's build, you have to go to his channel and you have to check it out. It is, I mean, it'll blow mine away. It's amazing what this guy does, and it is the right size. If I could realistically store and utilize something that big, I so would have gone bigger. I mean, I would have gone double. I would have probably gone 8 or 9 feet, because that's how big I see these things being. Whether the lore says it or not, that's how big I see them. And I basically went for a size that was as big as I could do, that would also be kind of usable on tabletop, so I can sit this on a kitchen table. Do you know what I mean? Where something the size of Eric's, you can't. It's something that has to sit on the floor, and you kind of play around it really. And I kind of wanted this to be able to be involved, and definitely dwarf the Warlord Titans from Forge World, which is the main thing. Those are the official Warlord Titans. This would probably be, well, by the time you put the cathedral thing on top, at least double the height of one of those, I think, which is appropriate. So I'm kind of, in universe scale is probably quite good, but in my mind scale, nowhere near as big. Go and check out Eric's Titan if you haven't. Eric's Hobby Workshop, real must see. And yeah, just I hope you're enjoying the build, and thanks ever so much for sticking with me. Sorry, I know I'm waffling now. It's getting all emotional. It's being like at the Oscars, It's coming at the end. It's coming to the end, isn't it? But yeah, I will throw up another video after I've primed it, which will probably be quite a short video. And then we'll start the build on top, guys. And of course, after that, we've got to paint the bloody thing. So we've got quite a lot of work to do, but it is definitely coming together. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you've liked the content, please like and share. I am still a small channel, so it really does help. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider giving me a sub, as that also really helps. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you again very soon. Cheers.